Today we're solving inequalities using multiplication or division. So if we have to work out x divided by 2 is less than -1, what's the inverse operation of division? Multiplication times 2. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So x is less than -2. Now when we have inequalities, we can also graph our answer on a number line. We have b divided by 4 is greater than or equal to half. What is the inverse operation of b divided by 4? Times 4. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Now we're multiplying half times 4. So we have to change 4 to a fraction, so we can put it over 1. Can we cross cancel? 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 4 twice. So b is greater than or equal to 2 over 1. This means the same thing as b is greater than or equal to 2. Can we graph this? Closed circle, pointing to the right, that is correct. Why to the right? All the numbers after 2 are greater than 2. All the numbers to the right of 2 are greater than 2. If we have -2/3 n is less than or equal to 2, we're solving for n. What's happening here? Multiplication times a fraction, right? What's the inverse operation? Okay, so we want to undo this fraction, so the first thing we're going to do is get rid of that denominator. That would mean times 3. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So we get -2, n is less than or equal to 6. Have we finished? No, we're still solving for n. What's the inverse operation? Divide by -2. When we divide by -2, what you do to one side, you do to the other, but we also have to remember that we have to flip the sign. We change the direction of the sign anytime we multiply or divide by a negative. So now n is greater than or equal to -3. We only flip the sign or change the direction of the sign when we multiply or divide by a negative number. So we've got -3, -2. Open or close circle? Close circle. And my graph would point to the right or to the left. So n is all the numbers greater than or equal to -3. Now, this same problem, -2/3 n is less than or equal to 6, can also be worked out another way. Now, when we're multiplying times a fraction, the inverse operation is division. Now, when we divide by fraction, we have to multiply times the reciprocal. So if we multiply times the reciprocal times -3 over 2, that's the reciprocal of -2/3. We're using the multiplicative inverse property. What you do to one side, you do to the other. This means n is greater than or equal. Why did I flip the sign? Because I am multiplying times a negative. So I flipped my sign, or I changed the direction of my sign. Can I cross cancel? Yes. What happened? Yes. You're not at the right answer. Did I copy the problem right? No. I didn't copy the problem right. This should be a 2. This should be a 2. Can we cross cancel? Yes. So we've got -3 as our answer. Did we end up with the same answer both ways? Yes. If I graph this, do I end up with the same thing? Let's try this again. So this second way is a little bit shorter. If we have let's say 6 is less than or equal to negative 3/5 W. So because we're multiplying times a fraction, the shortest way around this is to multiply times the reciprocal, negative 5/3. What we do to one side, we do to the other. We're multiplying times the negative, that means we have to flip the side. Can we cross cancel? Yes. So negative 10 is greater than or equal to W. Can we graph this? Yes. Okay. Negative 10, negative 11. So it's a closed circle. Do we point it to the right or to the left? To the left. Negative 10 is greater than or equal to W. This reads the same thing as W is less than or equal to negative 10. So we're pointing to all the numbers that are less than or equal to negative 10. If we have 5x is less than 25, what operation is happening here? This is multiplication. Now the inverse is division, so we have to divide both sides by 5. So x is less than 5, and we can graph this. Open or closed circle? Open, and we point it to the right or to the left? X is all the numbers that are less than 5. Well, what would change if instead of having 5x, we have negative 5x is less than 25? How would we answer this? Okay, the sign would change. So what's the inverse operation? Still division, but we're dividing by a negative 5. And because we're dividing by a negative 5, we have to flip the sign. So this means x is all the numbers greater than negative 5. So open or closed circle, would it point to the right or to the left? To the right.